Hi, my name is Kiki and this is my 2000 Toyota 4Runner. This particular vehicle I've been in since January, February. I've lived in vehicles for quite some time, probably about 2016, and I've gone through quite a few of them. This is just the latest addition to the fleet. Started off as traveling and fun, and now it's become a way for me to save. Because it's either rent or saving money, and so I chose to save, and this is how I'm doing it. This is kind of where I keep my everyday things. I usually pack my clothes a week at a time. I have a storage space that I can go to and from, so it allows me to keep not all of my things in the vehicle, and makes it look a little bit less like someone's sleeping in it. This is usually where I keep my stove. I've got my rain boots and the very important pea cup. And if we go to the back here, one of the great things I like about the 4Runner is this back window rolls down. So when it's warm out, it's a good feature. So it's really nothing special. It's very minimal. I've got a foam mattress that I got at Canadian Tire. I don't know, my hammock, a sleeping bag if I need it. This, very important, little brush. And depending on what I'm doing for the week, this is kind of like my storage area where I can put things. So that container usually stays in my car. It's just like little bits and bobs, and then usually some snacks on the top. I actually went to Texas for work and I brought back these chips. So that's what stays up front. And I actually bought this. It's like a double wide yoga mat, and it helps with a little bit of the unevenness where the seats fold down. So sometimes like I can fold this out so that it's the whole width of it, but when I do, it can get a little bit uncomfortable. So this is really helps me with that. So usually here I got a little bit more, I don't know, more storage space, like my raincoat. I've got a couple extra pairs of shoes. This is kind of like my kitchen-ish. A whole bunch of different stuff, knives, whatever you need. So this is the actual seat here. This is the back, and then this is the seat part. So this goes up, that goes down, and you know, I can make it into a regular passenger vehicle. Sometimes I will put this goes across the back and it pulls out just so that I can hide things. I mostly try and find places to sleep that are secluded, so I don't need curtains. And I mean, I'm up for work at 5:30 in the morning, so there's very rarely anybody around to see me doing this. And even on the weekends, I don't sleep in anyways, so it works out for me. The tint has been quite nice. And I put these on because, well, you know, we get rain and it's nice to have the windows down that nobody can see, but you're still getting airflow into it. Because, I mean, wiping down the windows from condensation every morning is just terrible. I charge my phone when I drive. I don't have any sort of electrical requirements. My laptop stays at work. I mean, really the only thing that I have that requires electricity is my phone. I have flashlights. Yeah, I have flashlights. But with waking up pretty early. I try to go to bed around like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And so recently it's been good because the sun is staying out later. But yeah, for the most part, I just, when it gets dark, then I crawl into bed and yeah. I found it hard to balance between paying for rent and saving. Rent ate up a big chunk of my salary, especially, you know, when your average one bedroom is like $1,800. So I decided now that it's much more important for me to save for my future, and I'm willing to sacrifice the comforts to have that. So that's why I've decided to continue living in a vehicle, even though I make decent money, I have a good job, but it yeah, that's kind of the main reason. But I also like my freedom, and I like to be able to go to nice places, and if I want to spend the night, then I can, right? I can pack up and go wherever I want. So I do really enjoy the freedom of this, and you know, I can go to a spot that's 10 minutes from work, and I have a short commute in the morning, and or I can go 30 minutes away and go to a nice little nice pond and hang out for the evening, and yeah, it really diversifies the day.
Do you have any sort of estimates of how much money you think you are saving from living this way?
In the 5-figure range, for sure, so far this year alone. And all of that would have gone towards rent. And I would have had nothing to show for it, right? So I've actually been really pleased at how much I have been able to save, especially with staying close to work. So I'm spending less money on gas. And I mean, I have 3 vehicles, so I do pay not a significant portion, but I do have an insurance bill. Lucky for me, I pay it all at once, so I get a little bit of a discount that way. But so in the summer, I usually camp in I've got a classic Mercedes. It's a station wagon, and it's comfortable, it looks great, it cruises nice, and I'm so in love with it, I can't get rid of it. So I have made it work, owning 2 vehicles and not having, or 3 vehicles and not having a home. So it works for me, and I've got a little sedan, so if I need to go out and be fuel efficient or fast, I will take that and keep this at my storage spot and come back to it when I need it. So I'm a heavy equipment mechanic, and I work on specialized construction equipment, and it helps me in the sense of vehicle maintenance. I've got a little bit of knowledge on that, and if I don't know how to do something, then I'm sure I could probably figure it out. And also the best part is I am able to use the shop on weekends and on my off time, so that really takes the stress away from potential breakdowns, and it really helps you keep on top of preventative maintenance, which is so important when you do this lifestyle, because the last thing you want is you're out somewhere where you're not familiar and something happens, you break down, and you're stuck. And you're stuck paying for a tow or paying someone to do the work when perhaps you know how to do it, and that always sucks. One of my favorite lines is whenever someone asks me where I live, I just say I'm up the road and around the corner. And, you know, not that I go out and party much, but, you know, if I do decide to go out with friends and have a couple drinks, like, I don't have to worry about leaving my vehicle somewhere or spending money on Ubers. Like, I can literally just make sure I can park for the evening and I'm good to go. Like, couple weeks ago I went to a wedding, and it was at a conservation site, and it was an open bar, so it was presumed that some people would be leaving their vehicles there overnight. And I thought, well, that's perfect because I'm just going to sleep right here. So things like that, you know. If I want to go to Niagara Falls, or if I want to go out to Ottawa, like, I don't have to book a hotel, right? I can just take what I need with me and go wherever I want to go. When it's cold, it's tough, and there's a lot of staying at friends' places on like the super cold nights. And I mean, I have a pretty good sleeping bag. It's rated to about -25. Sometimes we see that. Luckily, this past winter wasn't so bad, and I was kind of shuffling here and there until I found this. So winters are definitely a challenge. I mean, I have done this for long enough that I have learned to minimize what I use, and I carry the water that I need for the day, and I'm able to fill it up at work. It's also been a huge help because most of my food I keep at work in my work fridge, so I don't have to worry about refrigeration or anything like that. I go to Costco on Sunday, I get 4 bags of salad and a rotisserie chicken, and that's my lunches for the week. So I've got like my own little drawer at the work at the work fridge with all my groceries. So it's that's been a huge help, and we've got a shower there too, or I have friends that I can go and shower there. Same with laundry. I mean, I'm lucky that I wear a uniform every day, so I don't get my own clothes very dirty. Like, I literally wear my own clothes from like waking up to getting to work and then driving back home. So, I mean, my clothes don't really get that dirty, right? So that's been wonderful for me. Saves on the laundry bill. But yeah, it's so far so good. I've learned that I don't need as nearly as much as I thought I did. Especially when I started this in my early 20s. I had never really, I don't want to say gone without, but I had a roof over my head, I had food in my stomach, and I had all the comforts of a home. And when I started getting into this, it really taught me that I was like, I don't need half of what I thought I needed. So I think there was definitely a fear when I first started, mostly like a fear of other people. And there have been a few occurrences where I have encountered people that have made me uncomfortable. Like, if I remember I was at one spot and someone had drove in and they asked me, oh, are you going to be sleeping here for the night? And I didn't even clue in. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to set up my tent. And then I thought about it later. I'm like, I'm definitely not sleeping there tonight because I don't know who you are, and I don't want to be in a vulnerable position like that. I had an incident in Seattle where someone tried to break into my car while I was sleeping in it. So that was a little jarring. I learned that my response to that is freeze. I didn't do anything. I just froze. But other than that, I found that most people are good, and most people are more than willing to help you and give you things. I've been given a lot of things, and it's just and how I interact with my natural environment too. Like I find that I get really upset when I go to a spot that I frequent and there's garbage left out, and it's like I feel like I'm community watch. You know, like I have this one spot in particular that I go to that, you know, whenever I'm there, there's at least 5 to 10 people who show up after me and they see my vehicle there and they turn right back around. So, I mean, if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. So, I've become a little bit of an old man with a shotgun on the porch. But it also, you know, it's just like I want to protect what's there, and I want to make sure that we can all use it. And, you know, yeah. Yeah, I think also when I first started this, I didn't know much about mechanics, and it was mainly living this lifestyle that got me into it. And you know, I was with someone at the time. I was out west, and we were working on vans and vehicles, and we had a whole bunch, and we would fix them up, and so that taught me a lot about my own physical strength, but also about my ability to learn new things, things that I was never exposed to before. And it really sparked a love for me that kind of put me on the path to heavy equipment mechanics. And not that it's a little bit more slower paced, but it's you know, it's just a better fit for me than automotive, let's say. And so I'm really grateful that it has brought me to this point in my life, and all because I decided at 23 that I was going to move out west. I would say the biggest thing that I've learned is that most people are good. Most people are good, and it's easy to, you know, be. It's easy to think as a woman that you know, people are out to get you, and that life is stacked against you. But throughout this, I have found that that has been the complete opposite. And, you know, for the most part, like, it hasn't even really factored in, other than that one experience with that one man. That was it. And when I had traveled down to the States, like I met people who invited me into their homes and invited me to stay with them. And you know, I met this lovely couple at a dive bar, and we got chatting, and they're like, you know, you remind me of our daughter. Like, you should come stay with us. So next thing you know, I was like, all right, I have an excuse to drive to Vegas. And I did. And I stayed with them for a weekend, and they showed me such kindness, and it was yeah, it was lovely. And I've had a lot of good experiences with strangers. Anything can happen at any time, and how you react to it and how you choose to deal with it makes all the difference. And you can go out and view the world as an evil place where bad things happen, and that's all you'll see. And you know, I don't like to say it's going to be a good day or it's going to be a bad day, because really at the end of the day, that's your choice, whether it's a good day or a bad day. I think anything can happen, and your life can change at any moment. And really, like, as travel is, you go with the wind. I feel like you have to let your life go that way too, or else you're going to miss out on opportunities, or possibly have regrets. And I see every single one of my decisions as a necessary choice in my life that have all brought me to this point in time. And yeah, try to learn from my mistakes and move forward and live a better life. Like 2 years ago, I was very underemployed and didn't really know what I was going to do with my life or where I was going to go with it. And now I am in a position where I love my job. I love going to work and doing new things every day. And I am making an incredibly more amount of money now than I was 2 years ago. And all it took was 2 years. That's it. So, yeah, take what comes to you. But also kind of go looking for it. Because not everything's going to be handed to you, right? There needs to be some work involved. Like, life is inherently work. Whether you're toiling in the fields and milking cows, or you're going to work every day from 9 to 5, at the end of the day, we're all just trying to feed ourselves, and it's work.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend. Also, if you want to watch more alternative dwellings, we've got a playlist popping up right here, and we release new episodes every single Sunday, so consider subscribing.